All right, so basically I'm just gonna go over the 4-hour candle opens. So like, as you can see right here, this is like our current 4-hour candle. If I go to like the 4-hour chart, you'll see that's our current 4-hour candle right here. But a lot of times I'll talk about riding the distribution. So like you wait for a wick to form on the 4-hour that like I can see, and then I'll try and like get in on this move. So like the main times for like New York session are gonna be 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., which I marked out here. And then pretty much these are like the main two times that I'm looking for setups. And then all I have to do is just I wait for like a manipulation into a higher time frame gap, and then my SMT, and that's pretty much all I do. So if we go here, yeah, so we ended up making equal highs here, which is, we'll just draw that there. And then you can see it wasn't over here. And then if I drop down to the 1 minute, we'll see. So this is our 10 a.m. Candle open lower and then starts going higher, but I'm never gonna long the top. And this, like as you can see clearly, is the top here. So at that 10 a.m. open, I wouldn't have longed. And then if we drop down here, you can see this is pretty textbook. So like we have a fat gap here. Right here, bang. And you can see we also used it a few times, so kind of weak. And then we get a close below it, and then we distribute down, right? Same thing over here, a huge gap here. And then this is also where we had our SMTs at these highs, because it was not equal highs over here. We displaced through it, and then bam, we sell off. Now, in terms of TPs, usually what I'll do is like, let's say we're trading like on the outside of the range. That's like external range liquidity. It's like, I mean, outside of this was external. And then if we had swept this, we would have swept internal and we would have been targeting that. So like if the 4-hour candle had opened this way and we sweep internal, then we're targeting external, which is up here. But it didn't, it swept external. So ERL to IRL, that's what we're targeting inside. And then your internal now was this low, right? Which is bang here. And then Ray, I'll put this there, that's your internal. So usually I'll trade the weaker pair, so this would have been the trade for me. Get in on this candle, closure here, stops here. Targeting this. Not crazy RR, but as you can see it hits. I mean, if you had wanted to, you could have targeted this or the new week gap, but we didn't fill it. We edged it or hit it to the tick, so I mean, that would have been technically a perfect low day. And that is also, I guess, external to internal, right? Because this is inside of the range. Anyways, it's kind of like hard to force multiple trades if I have my top wick on this 4-hour candle. If I'd had this top wick on this 4-hour candle, and also we had crazy SFTs at all-time highs, because if I look at the 4-hour here, you can see very clearly 10 a.m. today on NASDAQ was all-time highs, and we were still below this. And I'm willing to bet if I fib this out, we're also in a really nice spot. So yeah, pretty much respecting OTE. And then if we zoom down, yeah, I mean, super clean setup here for this short today. Now, same thing like 2 p.m. opens. We had clearly SMTs off of these lows, all these lows here, which clearly got taken out. I'm gonna remove this 10 a.m. marker just so it's not too cluttered. And then get rid of that. I'm gonna leave these two just so that we can understand how big of an SMT we had. Oh, bam. There, and then that was this and this. respectively. So 2 p.m. opens. We already have SMTs off of these lows from here. I'm gonna get rid of this just so it's not too cluttered. But as you can see, we're trading above these when 2 p.m. hits, and then so naturally I'm looking for longs because we have a high time frame SMT and we've just been bullish on the higher time frames. If we look at where our low was placed, NASDAQ, you can see kind of respecting OTE, but yeah, here, right? So I'm pretty much bullish. And just looking for a long entry, so I'm just waiting to find a SMT. Technically we had it here, but I'm trying to just find a lower time frame one or see us hold something. So as 2 p.m. opens, we're actually in this 5-minute gap. And one of the also ways that you can avoid yourself from overtrading is like if there's no 5-minute gaps being formed, like if you zoom out and like you see this is the range that you're in and you just lost the trade, why would you take another trade in this? Like if you lose a long or a short here and then there's no reason for you to trade here. We had wick through this 5-minute, but still supporting it, or still, supporting, and you can see like we had respected the midpoint too. It's a good indicator. And then look how clean this is. We have here, we make equal lows, not an equal low on NASDAQ. We inverse this 1 minute right after 2 p.m. opens, and what do? We just launch. And then again, you can understand that we had our SMTs off this internal, so what are we targeting? We're targeting outside of the range. That was before this 1 hour gap had formed on ES, or maybe the 1 hour gap had formed and I was still hesitant thinking that we'd go lower. But I was just fighting the common theme, which is just long. But again, ES was the weaker pair on the lower time frame, so, and you can see like also we had these gaps here that got flipped. Forget about this here, where this is like basically a market structure shift, and we're making higher lows now, and then we broke above a high. But yeah, pretty clear long like here. Anywhere here, and then this is the conservative TP, I guess. But because we had SMT on the internal and I always follow that structure, you could be targeting outside of the range here or even all the way back up here. Or usually the lower time frame SMT, where it's weaker, I'll trade this pair. So like usually I'd take this trade on ES and I'd be targeting whatever I was targeting over here. But just because NASDAQ was seeming to hold higher, that's why I wanted to take it here. And what did I say? My TP, I didn't have an aggressive TP. I just like wanted to TP like in this unfilled 15-minute gap. I remember I told you 0.38, so like my trade was nothing. It was like this. I had actually gotten it a bit earlier, but this was ostensibly the trade I took. Like it was like that, except I had gotten it done here, but besides the point. But yeah, just if you always wait for the 4-hour candle to open, and then like you have an idea that, because sometimes like it'll open and it will have left without making a wick on one side, and then you're like, okay, we're probably gonna come back and visit that, or vice versa. But that's just like, I don't know, I don't feel as if I explained anything, but hopefully that helps.